If you don't know who Miss Havisham is, she's my favorite character from Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. We meet Miss Havisham dressed in her old withered wedding dress from long ago. She's living in her mansion that has somehow turned into a house of cobwebs and dust. She's not letting any sunlight in. She keeps all the curtains closed and dark because she prefers it that way. Later on, we find out that her partner didn't show up on the wedding day and had abandoned her. All the clocks in the house was set to the time when this event occurred or when Havisham got to know he wouldn't show up. In the book, at one point, she takes the necklace and I think, and she keeps it back on the exact spot, the same spot it was. This shows how much she dislikes change. She's holding on very tightly to the only memory she has tied to his fiancé, unwilling to let it go no matter how much it consumes her. A partner who was supposed to show up didn't, and he betrayed her trust. Not only her trust, but her faith in all humanity and life itself. And this event was traumatic. In psychology, it has its own name, betrayal trauma. This forced this woman who was excitedly getting ready for her wedding day into survival mode. Because at the time, her nervous system or her brain looked at this event as something that's so threatening that it could kill her. Yes, and that's possible because romantic rejection is taken so horribly by your brain, specifically if you have a hypersensitive nervous system, and betrayal adds on to that. Romantic rejection actually activates brain areas that are responsible for actual physical pain. So if you're feeling like deep, aching pain because you suffered betrayal, rejection, or abandonment from someone you like, that's valid. Researchers think that the reason for problems with relationships or, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, these interpersonal issues really affect us so deeply than other things in life. It makes sense evolutionarily. See, in the Stone Age or, I don't know, ages before, I don't know, what mattered was staying together, a sense of belonging to a community or others. It mattered the most because if you didn't, if you were excluded or isolated, you will be eaten by an animal and you will suffer and die because you can't survive without food. In those times, you were absolutely powerless if you didn't have connection or if you were not accepted by your tribe. So researchers think, well, maybe why these things affect the brain so automatically to us is because of the need to belong to a community back then. Havisham's brain thought, okay, we have to take some time right now. She needs to stop whatever she's doing and fixate on what just happened so we can figure it out. The pain was too overwhelming and the nervous system couldn't take it. Then it goes into survival mode. There's no difference for the brain when thinking, oh, there's a tiger chasing me down the road, and, oh, he didn't show up on the wedding day. Both are matters of survival. When you experience betrayal or abandonment, especially if you tend to be more sensitive, your brain looks at it like a life and death situation. But then it eases out with time and when you invest your energy to heal. So in psychology of forms, in Gestalt psychology, the law of closure, it refers to an operation that the brain does to make sense of different visual elements. Your brain needs to fill in the gaps to form a full, complete, meaningful picture. Similar to this, the human brain, the human mind, needs to see relationships as a complete story. It has to have an introduction, a content, and a conclusion. But if something ends like Havisham's did, shockingly and without any closure, your brain will ruminate on it so much and so deeply with an urgency because it requires that missing gap to be filled. Not wanting to see sunlight, not wanting to go out or interact with people, hiding inside a mansion in the dark, all great survival strategies, and it is normal and adaptive even to go into a survival state in the face of betrayal or trauma. You go inside your little cocoon, be in the darkness, so you don't want to face the world. You don't want to face the shame. But what's not healthy or adaptive is to stay frozen in it, because there's a whole life waiting for you to build it. People to meet, dreams to achieve. But if you decide, no, I'm going to stay in the cocoon for the rest of my life because it's too difficult to get out of it, then you will turn into an old lady who's wearing her dress of betrayal from decades ago in a house full of cobwebs, stuck in pain, frozen in time, while the person who betrayed her probably is out there just chilling in a hotel with a martini in their hands. When the potential for you could have been you finding the right person and you building your own empire. If only you would have chosen to believe in your dreams. You can't expect to instantaneously move on. That's a myth. If you can Well, good for you, but how long you're gonna be in the cocoon depends on who you are. Your temperament, your life experiences, the support you have, protective factors, your emotional bandwidth, but it also depends on your choice as well as your commitment to move forward. It was like she fused with this event. She merged with this betrayal and extracted everything it had to say about her, the world, and her future. Think of betrayal or abandonment or rejection as a terrifying monster. It's coming at you like Godzilla invaded the town, and it's like the monster stabbed its teeth into Havisham's heart, and then Havisham, instead of running and saving herself, she decided, I'm gonna stay put here. The monster ran away, and Havisham just stayed put in the crime scene, ruminating on why it happened, what made him do it, what made it a monster, what other towns is he invading, and later on, she doesn't move, but she keeps screaming, he did this, so I'm gonna drown anybody who even looks close to a monster. Even those little, those little reptiles who look like little monsters, I'm gonna drown them. What kind of thoughts do you think ran through her head after this incident? Oh, this is so painful, I'll never love again. I hate men. I can't face the world now. This is so humiliating. This is what I get for trusting and for having faith in a person. Men are evil. Anyone I'm attracted to will develop feelings or will abandon me somehow. He abandoned me, so there must be something wrong with me. If she had been able to reframe this event and its effects on her differently, things may have turned out differently for her. This brings me to the concept called post-traumatic growth, which you already may have heard. Post-traumatic growth is the positive psychological shift you experience as a result of certain traumatic events. More like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger and wiser. But not everybody who experienced trauma experienced post-traumatic growth. This is what I mean when I say many people and almost everyone go through trauma, but not everyone grow through trauma. Some come out of trauma as better people, stronger, wiser, mature. The others come out of it bitter, resentful, and cruel. Post-traumatic growth doesn't happen without intentional effort. It's like a butterfly effect. You make choices, like you choose to go to therapy, you choose to do shadow work if you're spiritual. You make a choice that it's time to let things go. Do not let pain define your life. It's difficult, but you're going to make it anyway. And in this process, it teaches you things. You learn and you evolve. It's not merely becoming resilient, it's a whole perspective shift. The way that you think about the world, about yourself, and your future change, but in a good way. It's like you built a tower and an earthquake destroyed your tower. Trauma destroyed your assumptions about others, yourself, and about your life. If you suffer from betrayal, it's going to affect how you viewed yourself as highly and deserving, how you used to trust and have faith in someone you loved, and how you thought you'd be able to have a home with that person that you loved. It's all shattered. All these schemas fall down like the tower, and the next time you're going to rebuild the tower on fertile soil with good cement so it can withstand a storm or an earthquake. You rebuild your assumptions by working on it internally. Some people rebuild the tower with the same cement, same type of cement, and stay in the same place where there was no fertile soil. So they're going to repeat their history. But the people who are going to choose the right soil and the right cement and the right place, they're the ones with good post-traumatic growth. You need to do a lot of cognitive processing for this, changing the way that you think, dealing with your emotions, figuring out healthy ways to cope with your emotions, figuring out how to deal with the pain of the event. A lot of processing is needed. You're not going to avoid, you're going to deal with it. A lot of processing is required to finally accept the event and commit to move forward. You're rebuilding the tower. A lot of people think this is just easy work. It's not. Unless you have done it, you don't know it. These people made a scale to measure this concept of post-traumatic growth, and they said that usually people who face trauma go through positive changes in these aspects of their lives. They tend to have more gratitude for life, their priorities change, they build more intimate relationships with others, they become stronger, more immune to difficulties, they become smarter, they're able to recognize more possibilities open to them, and some of them start to believe in a higher power. So imagine Miss Havisham chose to face her betrayal, to look it in the eyes and say, F you. Imagine she didn't freeze herself at the crime scene. Imagine she got herself medication for the teeth stab and she healed. Imagine she tended to the wound every day and did a lot of work on it. She processed it. She invested her energy and time to truly understand that, yeah, the monster was not right and it had nothing to do with me. Maybe I need to look at the way I tend to choose people, or the kind of people I let into my life, or the way that I feel about myself, the way that I think about relationships and how it should be. Let me work through that. She could have had a better ending. You need to understand that what happened to her happened because of how she framed the event. I'm not saying that she should not have felt what she felt. She's 100% entitled to the way that she felt. Her emotions, the indignation, the sadness, the anger, the grief, Being abandoned has the power to do all of those things. But if you let those emotions fester, and it finally gets to a point where you're bitter and resentful, and you let that bitterness and resentment fester in your mind, it becomes a grudge. And that grudge doesn't do anything good for you, nor for the other person or the other people around you. She started catastrophizing everything. It changed the way that she perceived herself, the world, and her life. Not in a good way. Because she perceived the world in a so cynical light, she chose to avenge people who aren't her betrayer. Because of what one man did to her and how she suffered from it, Havisham made Pip, an innocent little boy who could have grown into a wonderful young man, she made him suffer and completely lose himself. Havisham turned into this bitter, manipulative woman whose only intention and motivation was to make her betrayer, or anyone who represented that betrayer, suffer. That was her only entertainment and her only goal in life, because she stopped everything else and made her betrayer the protagonist, the main character of her life. Even though she thought she was, avenging her betrayer, she was avenging no one but herself and also innocent men. Or maybe not innocent, but it wasn't the man who hurt her. One thing you need to know if you have been through betrayal is don't freeze your story where it hurts the most. If you stop your story at the worst chapter and you want to write the rest of your book, it will never get written. Avoidance is not the way to write your story. Avoidance is the fastest route to emotional imprisonment. The more you avoid feeling your feelings about what happened, the more you become ruled by it. You are the main character of your life, not the person who betrayed you. You heal when you become the protagonist again, not the person who wronged you. You can grieve your story without becoming the grief. Pain is only a part of your story, not your entire story. Miss Havisham didn't ruin her life because she was abandoned. She ruined it because she let the betrayal become her entire identity and her life. The lesson we can get from this is that a broken heart is an event, but staying broken is a decision. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, make sure to subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you liked anything, if you learned anything, if you enjoyed it. If you have anything to say, you can drop it in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next video.